Welcome to Tuesday Tips, and today's tip is on time management, primarily drawn from the third habit among the 7 habits of highly effective people. So just to quote from this classic by Stephen R. Covey, that is the 7 habits of highly effective people, he says that things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. And essentially, when it comes to time management, one of the things that we need to differentiate is between the important and the urgent. So here is a list of, if you were to do a personal time audit, the kind of things that you would want to be checking. And this is drawn from the Accountants Growth Club. Number 1, it says, I start each day with a prioritized to-do list. And I think you want to ask yourself that as you start your day, do you have a prioritized, and not just any to-do list, but is it in order of priority? Then I turn off all automatic notifications on my computer for messages and emails. And you want to be saying, do I do that or do I not? And the idea of turning off automatic notifications is to avoid distractions. Then I know when my most productive time of day is, and I schedule my most demanding tasks for then. Of course, there is a whole philosophy about working in the mornings and so on. But one of the things that you will want to do is to discover your most productive time and schedule your most demanding tasks for then, and the least productive time and schedule the least demanding tasks for that time. Then you would want to batch process similar activities. So if it's emails, find a time block. And within that time block, say it's now time to respond to emails. It's now time to make the phone calls that I need to do. That way you're not all over the place. You're not, as the saying goes, running around like a headless chicken. Then use your to-do list to get the stuff that needs to be done. Take regular breaks to refocus. Then limit the amount of caffeine and sugary drinks. And prioritize the to-do list as the day goes on, so that your to-do list is not the one that is master over you, but it is servant to you. You may find that you may want to reprioritize. If you look at the E-Myth, for example, the E-Myth proposes that you only have 4 tasks at most, or 4 goals that you want to accomplish within a day. So reprioritize the to-do list as the days goes on, up the amount of time you spend on the internet, and only look at social media during particular times. Of course, the thing, as I always say, is to be able to learn the principles. For example, if you're talking of social media or the amount of time you spend on the internet, it may vary from one person to the other, but the important thing is to be able to differentiate between the important and the urgent. And that brings us to this very prolific tool, the Eisenhower box. So according to the Eisenhower box, this is drawn from Dwight Eisenhower, the 34th president of the United States, and who said that what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. It is as if the two are mutually exclusive. So according to this box, it has what I call the 4 Ds of time management. And the 4 Ds of time management is 1, delete. If something is not important and it is not urgent, then why do you need to be doing it? And here we've been given some examples of what may be a quadrant 4 activity. That is from Stephen Covey. He calls this quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So a quadrant 4 activity is an activity that is not urgent and is not important. So you would want to delete or to eliminate that activity. Then you have that which is not as important, but it is urgent. So what you would want to do is to delegate. You want to be able to ask who can do this on my behalf. Then there is what is not important and is urgent. Sorry, is important and urgent that you want to be able to do. For example, that which you have, if, for example, you have a schedule of things that on a particular day, like in my case, we have Tuesday tips that, you know, that on Tuesday you must be able to get a certain tip out. Then you want to be able to do. And then what is not urgent, but is important, you want to schedule. And what Stephen Covey says is that growth happens in these quadrants too. Because these things are not urgent, we tend to put them away. You know, we tend to push, as the saying goes, to kick the can down the road. But it is here that growth happens. It is here, for example, that as a kingdom entrepreneur, you are empowering a leadership team around you. You see, it is not urgent, but it is very important that you are empowering a leadership team, that you're spending time with your key leader, for example, key leadership or key management, them getting to understand your part, and them getting to understand why you do what you do. And once they get the buy-in, then it means that you can eventually build a business that is able to run independent of you. So those are the 4Ds, the 4Ds of time management. And if you will, you could say that if it's not important and not urgent, delete. If it is not important but is urgent, delegate. If it is important and not urgent, decide or diarize when you will do it. And finally, if it's important and urgent, then you got to do it. Thank you, and God bless you.